Dear friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be diving into another TryHackMe loom called LFI. This loom is relatively simple, but I do not want to stop at just solving the challenge. Instead, I want to use it as an opportunity to fully explain local file inclusion or LFI. In this video, we will cover what local file inclusion is, and then how to identify an LFI vulnerability. And also, I'd like to show you common local file inclusion payloads. And finally, I'd like to show you how attackers exploit local file inclusion. Before we get into the target machine, I'd like to give some basics first. So what is local file inclusion? Local file inclusion is a web vulnerability that occurs when an application includes files based on user-controlled input. So user can control the input, of course, then can manipulate input without proper validation or sanitization. Typically, if you see the parameters like a page, like a file, of course, a file, and the template and the len, this stands for, or is short for language. For example, imagine at the server side or backend PHP application that loads different pages or files like this one, the page, this parameter, and we can pass or we can give value to this parameter. If such user input is not sanitized or validated, and then attacker can manipulate this parameter to load arbitrarily files from the server, even can lead to remote command execution. Okay, so now I'd like to switch over to Kali Linux to look at the target machine. First of all, we need to discover open ports and services running on the target machine. To save time of this video, I've already done the map scanning. So now we can get out its result. As you can see here, I took the options like scene scan, the virtual scan, default script scan, followed by the ON to output the result into this file. Although the IP address of the target machine has been changed, anyhow, this will not affect our demonstration. From the map scanning, we can tell the target machine has two open ports. The first one, 22. The surface is SSH or secure shell surface. And also we can get its version information, open SSH, even including its exact version number. This version is a bit updated. I don't think we can find any workable exploit. Let's move on. The second open port, 80, the surface is HTTP or Hypertext Transfer Protocol. And also we can get its version information Apache 2. Such information is also very useful when we try to, exploit local file inclusion vulnerability. Okay, so what are we going to do next? It's pretty much clear. We need to emulate this web application first, both manually and automatically. Let's fire up the browser to perform manual emulation first. And we can put the IP address of the target machine into the address bar. Hit enter, and the browser is loading the site. And at the bottom, you can see the browser is trying to connect to YouTube site, and this will not be successful. So this, of course, this video, because of my environment, the video is not accessible, but this will not affect our penetration. So here, cool beats to listen to and search, And at the bottom, we can find, or we can notice, there are several hyperlinks, and all of them have the same pattern. The parameter, page, vibe, and the game. So I don't think before we go further, we can guess possibly page parameter exists local file inclusion vulnerability. So I'd like to bring back my PowerPoint. So next, how to detect, how to, use the different payloads to detect local file inclusion vulnerability. Okay, or maybe I'd like to take this one. Sorry, I need to put it here. And okay, so how to detect local file inclusion vulnerability? So the first thing we look for is, such behavior, file inclusive behavior, like hyperlink or like URL address. So if you change the parameter, change the page content, that's a good sign the file is being included dynamically. And next we can test for directory traversal. Okay, so now let's also, we can take different payloads. For example, like this one. If this one doesn't work or doesn't return anything or doesn't return what we expect, and we can try, some path traversal. Even sometimes we need to put more double dots. Okay, and even in some cases, both payloads do not work, and then we can use this PHP filter to to get the source code or even some like a configuration file. Okay, so now let's test it out. And I think we can, if you click this hyperlink, and we can copy this address, we can use the command line to detect local file inclusion vulnerability. We can attempt the first payload. All right, so this payload doesn't work. And next we can try to put some path traversal. Okay, hit enter. And this time we successfully retrieve content of password file. So, sometimes we can, utilize the PHP filter to, to retrieve source code. Okay, let me show you. For example, I'd like to copy this, and we can use, maybe here we can use the index, right? For example, I want to get the source code of the index file. Okay, so how to do? I think we can use Q. And index PHP page index. Okay, sometimes we need to put its extension, sometimes do not. We hit enter to see whether we can get back encoded data. Okay, nothing returned, right? Maybe so. Oh, the IP address is not correct. Sorry about that. I need to confirm the IP address of the target machine. Yeah, this is my fault. I need to use different IP address. Okay, hit enter. But we didn't get back, encoded or base 64 encoded data. So sometimes we need to put its extension. Nothing returned. Okay. Anyhow, we have already discovered or detect the local file inclusion vulnerability. So what can we do next? We need to exploit this vulnerability. Okay, for example, I'd like to retrieve this content of password file one more time. So next, so root user. So this is a normal user, nobody. This username. This is non-existent. Usually, when we try to exploit the local file inclusion vulnerability, we will take it this way. LFI. We can try to access or retrieve private key for the user. For example, like for the normal user normally, okay? And next we can try to retrieve its bash history. Bash history or this file contains some historic command. Even sometimes we can get some credentials, right? So next we can try to access the authentication log file. Okay. Next we can try to access log file. In this case, it's Apache 2, but injects or different web middleware will be different. The path will be different. Okay, and also just now I have already mentioned we need to use some kinds of PHP filter. And next we can try to test remote file inclusion vulnerability. So next I'm going to, because here in this case there is no normal user, so now I'd like to try to access the authentication log file. Okay, so if we can include or retrieve log file, and then the next step would be to poison the log file. Okay, log authentication log. Nothing returned. Apache access log. Nothing returned, which is fine. Next, we can try to test remote file inclusion vulnerability. If the target machine has or is vulnerable to remote file inclusion, and then we can try to, for example, get command executed remotely. Okay. We can set up a web server with Python 3. And next, we can utilize this method, HTTP. I need to get the IP address of my Linux. Let me copy. Port number. And hit enter. But our web server running locally failed to receive collection from the target machine. This means the application or the target is not vulnerable to remote file inclusion. Okay, so let me bring back, how to exploit local file inclusion. We can reading more file, for example, like configuration files, okay, and also like the bash history. It depends, okay, and just I said log poisoning is attack technique where an attacker injects malicious content into server log files, then forces the application to read or execute those logs, often through a vulnerability like LFI. Okay, for example, we can try to, the manipulate, or this one, we can put malicious payload as SSH username, okay, malicious, and this malicious payload will be saved into the authentication log file. And similarly, for example, we can put malicious payload like one-liner PHP shell, okay, into user agent of request header, okay. So for example, we can use the passwd, or we just use command line like a Q with a option, and you can put a one-liner PHP shell, okay, malicious. You got my point. Of course, in this case, none of them can work. We only can retrieve, the password file. But as I said at the very beginning, the loom itself is very simple. What we have to do is just to retrieve the flag file, and we can utilize this local file inclusion vulnerability to do that. Okay, for example, let me bring back the command one more time, and for example, we can try to flag text and scroll up. Yes, as you can see, we successfully grab the flag of this loom. So I think that's pretty much it. I'd like to see you next. Bye. Have a good day, please.